That's right back, Charlie. Definitely.
Always just that active red line, defending. I think it's like.
I was muted. Are we live? Of course we're live. Live from the Arsenal changing rooms. People, Deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in each and every time. Do me a favor, people. Please, make sure you're hitting the like button, you're commenting your opinions, doing what you can for the engagement and the algorithm. Better than that, I hope everyone's in good spirits, definitely after the result yesterday. But generally, I hope everyone's having a good start to the week. We're at the midpoint. Hope you're moving aggressively to your goals, hopes, dreams, and aspirations. And if you're trying to overcome any obstacles, you've got this, people. We can't do it without our health, though. So, yeah, on behalf of myself, I'd like to extend it to your family as well. Hope everyone's in good health and good spirits and continues to do such, people. As much as I do like this background, people, I'm not going to lie. I mean, we did win yesterday. It would make somewhat sense to just slap the Arsenal lads back there. Let's see. I do like the changing room background. I'm not going to lie to you. But let's get some Arsenal faces behind me here, because we did win 2-0 yesterday, keeping up our unbeaten run, staying undefeated. 2 games this week, needed to win. Obviously, 1-2 injuries and whatnot, that's put a downer on it. I do think fans have got into dangerous territory where they're scapegoating players, but generally it's all right, man. So yeah, we're going to see what Arteta's had to say about this game. We're going to obviously talk about Eddie Nketiah. Like clockwork, he's had a good game. He's now got 7 goals in 8 games in the League Cup. Like someone said, the cat Yarabel and Anelka, really and truly, wish this form correlated into the league in the chances he got, really. But yeah, man, like clockwork, he's been linked with Brentford, he's been linked with Aston Villa. We'll cover it in a sec. Not sure on how legitimate Aston Villa is or how viable that is, because they've got Watkins and Ings ahead of you. So I don't know how much first team you'd get beyond the bench there. Brentford, of course, they've got a smaller team, but can't see you getting ahead of Mbeumo or Ivan Toney, really, and well deserved. Again, I don't think he can bring to the table what Mbeumo does, that pace, that aggression and stuff. Ivan Toney's a bit like Lacazette in that he can score goals, he drops deep, sometimes he's out on the left wing. I do think Eddie Nketiah's overall general play has improved a tenfold. Like even for me yesterday, his hold-up play still needs to improve, but dropping deep into like the midfield, pulling out to the left wing, making that run off the left-hand shoulder that Aubameyang does, that's actually something Balogun does very well as well, people. So I do think Eddie Nketiah looked good in pre-season. He's looked good in the opportunities he's had this season. Again, they're minimum. In where the league's concerned, he's probably not getting ahead of Lacazette or Aubameyang. I would say, even though he outshone Martinelli, and Martinelli's a winger, in terms of being an attacking option, he's probably ahead behind him. Obviously, a lot of that probably has something to do with the contract. Now, obviously, as any Arsenal fan, I would like to know your opinions. Are we making a decision too early on Eddie? I mean, as I said, it's very difficult to judge strikers at 20 odd years of age in their early 20s. Very few strikers with a finished article. For me, I do think Eddie's going to have a Premier League career. I just think where we are right now, he might be the guy in 2-3 years, but we ain't got 2-3 years. In that 2-3 years, we need to get someone that's immediately able to replace Aubameyang. And I would rather, start Project Martinelli up front. Not that he had an amazing game. I do think I want to see what Balogun's on. If Balogun's not on much, then move him on as well and find a young striker who is. So there is time, but again, time waits for no one. And, Arsenal and him probably need to separate to develop, because it's all fun and games scoring goals in the cup. This been it, Eddie. He's been doing it from when we played Blackpool, and that there needs to be a bit more. He needs to go and play somewhere consistently, show you can get 20 league goals minimum, and establish yourself in world football. Outside the corridors of Arsenal and whatnot, it's great. You did the phone call celebration thing again. I hope the agents are calling and things like that, because it seemed like the line was dead in the summer. But it is what it is where Eddie Nketiah is concerned. We'll circle back over Eddie Nketiah in a sec, because we spoke about him, people. But yeah, that's quick Eddie Nketiah opinions. He needs time, I would say. But yeah, man, we'll circle back on that in a sec. We might as well. So yeah, in fact, you know what? Let's just get Eddie Nketiah out of the way early doors, man, because I see some very interesting comments about another player, people. So where Eddie Nketiah is concerned, as I said, like clockwork, he's been linked with other clubs, people. You know, he's been linked with Brentford, he's been linked with Brentford, he's been linked with Villa. Two fantastic clubs to be a part of. I look at someone like Dean Smith now. I might be looking at it on a rather lazy thing, but you know, I'm sure he worked with Watkins originally when he was at Brentford. So you know, and that was a big reason as to why he bought him and things like that. I did think he played against, but saying that, I'm sure Watkins played against Dean Smith for a team. But anyways, yeah, Dean Smith clearly knows how to evolve strikers and work with strikers. And Aston Villa, I know they're not riding high at the moment, but they're a Premier League team. They're a team that's trying to do what Leicester and these things are doing, you know. So it's an ambitious project to be part of, and you'd be closer to the first team. I don't think you'd get a sniff beyond off the bench, or you know, having a purple patch and earning your way in the team ahead of Watkins and Ings. They're established Premier League players, England internationals. You're not getting ahead of Ings. I don't think he's got enough to his game that Watkins might have in terms of what Dean Smith might want. When you look at Brentford, again, in Buemo, Ivan, Tony, now there's going to be competition out anywhere, but is it worth going to a club with less resources that is going to have to call upon you? I think Palace would have been great. Now, really, you might not be ahead of Benteke, but there could have been opportunities there for you, and it would have been great for you. It broke down to personal terms. I think, you know, again, a byproduct of what you're seeing in football nowadays is people are running down contracts. That's going to be the new norm. Who knows? We might get into a world where, you know, transfer fees are a thing of the past. It's just hella free agents. And, you know, it's probably in Eddie's best interest to run down this deal. He can get a good signing on fee, he can get a better contract. You know, again, it is very difficult to make decisions in January, but you need to play. I don't want to say you've wasted the first half of the first quarter of the season, but quote unquote, you have. You know, you're not getting a, you know, when your form's like this, and if there's injuries, you might get a look in where the first team, you know, proper first team's concerned. And he was actually injured at a time where at the start of the year, but he ain't going to get too many minutes, and he probably shouldn't get too many minutes where it's concerned because of his contract. You know, I don't doubt his professionalism. I don't doubt his integrity. You know, he's picked up where he's left off and just continued being serious. But we need to plan for the future. And right now, it doesn't look like Eddie's part of that. You know, I do think he's going to become a £20 million player minimum, and that's where Arsenal have let themselves down, even getting into this situation where you're in the last 6 months of his deal and you're trying to get it done in the summer. Offered a deal, rejected it, whatever. Nelson accepted it under the same thing. So it would make sense. Eddie needs to go. For me, if you can get it done for 15 or so million in the summer, in January window, why not? It makes 100% sense. It gives Arsenal a little bit of cash to maybe throw towards the centre mid and things like that, and all of those sort of things. But as we know, for the last 2 years or so, we've needed to look for a striker, and probably more so with Aubameyang not getting any younger and Lacazette keeping it moving. The club tried to bring a forward in the summer. You know what that would have had ramifications for Balogun, Eddie, and probably Martinelli, I don't know, but they clearly are on the lookout. So hopefully in a year's time there's a striker. But I think this is the end of the road for Eddie. Now I would love to see him excel. I'd love to see him, you know, who doesn't want prospects to go through? But I do think he could leave with his head held high. He's come to Arsenal and he's played a Premier League game. I think people really underestimate how difficult it is to be a footballer and progress people through the academy. So the fact that you've actually progressed through the academy, lived everybody's dream, played professional football, you know, you've won an FA Cup, that's also a dream, but you've played in the Premier League against players that, you know, you probably were playing on FIFA, let alone he's made a handsome appearances for Arsenal. Sometimes that's the end of the road. Not everyone can do this, you know, the Smith Rowe thing and the Saka thing, and to a degree, Ainsley Maitland-Niles being a member of the squad. Certain people, I'm not saying Eddie can't, but certain people, that's the end of the road. They need to be sold, and that's what the academy is there to do, bring people to the first team. If not, you can judge an academy on not necessarily the players that progress through the first team for your first team, you know, but how they go and have careers elsewhere. And you look at the statistics that are coming up, Arsenal are up there for doing such. And I think with Eddie, I said it, with Eddie, Tyrese, John Jules and Balogun, if we're ever in a situation to sell either or all of them, they should all be developed to a point or to a point where we're making £20 million on them, you know, each. So that's 60 million, really, if that's the case. But it is what it is. Brighton would be a good move for him. You know, Brighton, I'd say Brighton, Southampton. I know they've got Borgia and Adam Armstrong, but their player turnover isn't the biggest. You know, for me, you need to go to a small squad where there's, you know, hardly any resources. They kind of have to use you, whether that's in Germany or in the Prem. I don't know, people. but go and lay down a marker for you. So Wolves could be something good. I don't think you're playing ahead of Jimenez, and they got that is it Chan, that new he's on fire, but they've got, you know, they've got big resources, but they seem to be quite weak where strikers are concerned, really. You know, is there something to be done with Norwich? I don't know how much he's going to excel in that Norwich team, or if anyone's going to excel, and if they're going to go down and things, but could it be worth that? Again, if I'm Newcastle and I'm trying to stay in the league, Eddie Nketiah doesn't present me statistically with a lot of goals where senior football is concerned in the league. So I don't know if he would be the guy I would lean my hat on. But I would, if Newcastle might make an opportunity, Palace might revive their interest. And obviously he's a South London man. That could be good for him. You know, he could almost try and have an Ian Wright sort of career with Palace and Arsenal. But yeah, man, he's been linked with leaving Arsenal really and truly, again, like clockwork. I think Arteta bigged him up in the press conference. Hit the like button if you haven't. We'll crack on with that soon. But apparently, you know, Mikel Arteta wants to see Eddie Nketiah remain at the Emirates, and you want everyone to remain. We know you're a big fan of his, but, you know, not everybody can play. Apparently, it's been claimed that Arsenal are keen on Villa striker Ollie Watkins, with Nketiah and Lacazette both seeing their deals run down. As you lot can see, Eddie Nketiah, sorry, has been linked with a move to Aston Villa and their Premier League rivals Brentford, as well as Leeds United, where he showed Leeds yesterday what he can do for them if they sign him, really. You know, again, when I look at Villa, I like their young players on the come up. You know, Cameron Archer, 21-year-old striker, I like him a lot. You know, I wonder what that would mean for him if they signed Eddie. Now, I think Eddie gets ahead of Keenan Davis, but again, unless there's an injury, you're not playing ahead of Watkins. You're not playing ahead of Lacazette. Again, if I look at Leeds, you might get in, but, you know, Bielsa demands a lot of running and things. And I'm not saying Eddie doesn't do that, but why wasn't Eddie playing under Bielsa? Does he feel him or not? So there's something there. Brentford, I think it would be a good system to be part of. I don't know if you're getting ahead of their strikers, although, you know, Ivan Toney, I'm sure every year that he plays Premier League football and every game that he kicks for Brentford, there's going to be more and more interest, people. You know, to be fair, it would be a surprise to see him. You know, apparently he said Eddie Nketiah himself. Oh, this is Arteta. We'll cover Arteta's comments as well, people. He said he has belief he's going to be a top player, but again, it's about a pathway. You can't have Martinelli, Balogun, you know, Eddie Nketiah, Lacazette, Aubameyang. We're not in Europe. There's only certain amount of games people can play, really and truly. And I know, again, I'm trying to find Eddie Nketiah's comments himself. He spoke about the game after, but it wouldn't surprise me. We know Eddie can have a top career and go on and develop, and we might sit here and say what's going on there. But for me, go and get your money. Again, I might miss Eddie, but again, if you can get a 15 million, that can be added to a transfer kitty, because the priorities for me is a top quality centre striker. Whether we can buy someone that's ready-made or source someone, that's another thing. We need to source that striker. I don't think that's Eddie. You know, I think you need to bring in someone that can eclipse that takes the mantelpiece from Aubameyang. So that means Aubameyang and Lacazette. But then again, the situation can look very different in a year. You know, Aubameyang and Lacazette by 2020, the end of summer 2023, they're not going to be a thing here at Arsenal. So there could be stuff, but Eddie can't afford to waste time. You're not going to develop. You know, you can have all the records at under 21 level as you want. You can have all the great records at England youth level up there with Michael Owen and Shearer with such. It's got to correlate to first team. Minutes are currency. You know, Arteta might big you up today, and, you know, we're still in the cup. So again, when the draw's made, you'll be the guy for the next one. But in between that, you know, in this run in the Premier League where we need 3 points and whatnot, you've earned probably a place in the squad, if I'm honest with you. But are you going to get into the team with Leicester on the horizon, with Liverpool at Anfield to come, with all of these big games to come? You're not going to, are you, really and truly? A lot of the man there that played yesterday, you forgot they were there. Honest to God, a lot of us forgot that Cedric and let alone Kolasinac were Arsenal players. It's a bit harsh, but at the same time, this is the reality of football. I get it why Eddie might be comfortable at Arsenal. You play for Arsenal and things like that, but you know, he needs to keep it moving, really and truly. It's like Low Pro has said, Charles Watt said the club looking to get an elite striker in the summer. Guess that would mean Lacazette and Eddie gone. Not necessarily, because football's a squad game. You know, for me, if Lacazette, if Lacazette goes, you know, you need, let's just say what, you'd have Aubameyang, let's assume for at least a year, you'd have this quote unquote elite striker. I'm cool with that. I think you need two men that can play through the middle. But saying that, what if we kind of do what we've done with Lacazette and Aubameyang and you throw them both on the field? So then again, you need someone who can be the hero off the bench, which could be Eddie. But saying that, at best, you're still not in the first team picture like that beyond being a squad player. So there's a lot to consider, really and truly. And it's like what Manny's saying, Eddie is good, but not what Arsenal need. And we did try to sign a striker last summer. that's, you know, he's improving his general play. I do think him being a poacher, at least where first team stated, is overrated. And that's not me being nasty to Eddie, because I think he is a poacher. But when you look at the statistics of him scoring to the minutes, you know, and you was to put in the yellow pages, I need a poacher, I can't lie, I don't think you're going to hire him. And this is where Eddie needs to probably kick on and leave Arsenal, because again, you know, I'm sure a lot of teams in the Prem are looking at a striker. Whether you're trying to win the league, where I don't think he's going to get bought by City and Liverpool, but whether you're trying to win the league, whether you're trying to mid-table, Champions League, you know, not get relegated, get promoted, goals win you games, you know, defense wins you titles, you know, that makes the difference. Goals wins you games. So people are always looking for goal scorers. Now, I'm not saying Eddie won't have interest, but let's just say if you're anywhere in the Premier League from 14th to 20th, you know, and there's not much in it, all of them teams could go down. And like I said, goals win games, you need to get to 40 points. Are you necessarily going to draw for Eddie? You might say, yo, listen, his agent might say Arsenal striker is available. You might be like, yo, Arsenal striker, the England record, boom, 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 this, that, and the other. But when you start looking at it, how many appearances does he have? How many goals does he have? All right, cool. I might be able to give him a chance if my squad is healthier. But if we're fighting for things and my neck is on the line, am I going to throw him in, or am I going to go for, you know, someone that might not necessarily be amazing, but I know he's going to get a decent goal return, and I know there's going to be a decent sort of, you know, out of 10 games, I might get 5s minimum. Eddie might give you a 10 and then a 7, because I do think fans rewrite history a lot with players, you know. And they've done it with Lacazette, they've done it with Pepe, they've done it with Nketiah, they've done it with Smith Rowe. I think people, you know, it's one of them. Eddie needs regular game time, and I don't think he can hit that. Why are the dislikes so high? Everyone, please hit the like button to switch up the ratio. I thought them bots left a guy alone. I guess they haven't. Forget all of them, though, man. They can't stop the thing, man. Just let them do what they're doing. Let's just hit the like button, carrying on our fantastic conversation and whatnot. 32 dislikes out of nowhere, bro. Them man, they are moving mad. They were nowhere to be seen yesterday and the day before. I thought we moved away from that. It's like what Tino said. Maybe the person who does the dislike, who does that dislike thing, maybe they're, you know, their benefits check cashed in at midnight, and they got their gyro, or they got their, you know, they finally, you know, got a Wonga loan so they can afford some damn hate bots. But you can dislike as much as you want. We're never going to be defeated. We're not here to go nowhere. We're just going to keep growing and growing and growing. You could only stop delaying the thing. You can't stop greatness. We're going to keep moving. And even now we've got 58 likes to their 32. So let's let them do their BS. I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's just leave them, bro. Let's just leave them. It's probably someone hurt. It's not my fault your baby mama left you. It's not my fault she likes the guy. She loves how she says I look sexy in yellow. The green screen can't stop the thing. But away from any of that, as I was saying, you know, Eddie's got a decision to make, really. And I feel there's a lot of player situations I don't have sympathy for. I'm not going to lie. I don't have sympathy for Balogun or Eddie Nketiah, because without knowing all the variables, and again, it's easier said than done, but I think they're all at the ages now where they've, and Joe Willock up until last year where he went Newcastle, you've got to be selfish about your development. You can't listen to what the club's telling you and what the manager's telling you, because reality is Arteta, and I want Arteta to do it from a selfish point of view. I want to keep all these young players and see what they can do, and some go out on loan, see what they're on, buyback clause, all of these things. So I advocate Arteta and Eddie to promise you something under the sun. They probably told Balogun, yo, you're going to play, you're going to do this, that, and the other. And obviously the timing has to be right. We found a bit of form. I can't necessarily sit here and say Balogun can get a look in, but that's exactly why you need to force the boat. You can't fall for the luxuries of being at Arsenal, of the kit looking nice, of being idolized by the world and all these things, you know, because when it gets to the nitty gritty and Arteta's back's against the wall and there's pressure and man need to get 3 points, he's not calling on Balogun right now. He's not calling on you, Eddie. There's players significantly more experienced than you that he's not calling upon. So for me, and I've said it before, historically, where Eddie Nketiah is concerned, Joe Willock was previously concerned, Reece Nelson was previously concerned, I think there's been a really laxed approach to their development without knowing everything. I even think, you know, again, it's been a fantastic 10 months for Smith Rowe. Smith Rowe was in the boat with these lot where they're in the first team, they're not really in the first team. You're looking at it and thinking, what's going on, sort of thing. Are they going to kick on? Are they going to go out on loan? You didn't really know what's going on, really and truly. And if I'm them, I'd relish it as well. I had this conversation with someone that used to be in Arsenal's academy, and, you know, he thinks there was a lot of better players historically that if they were in this situation where, you know, over the last few years, there's been a bunch of first team players in the first team, almost unheard of, they would have probably benefited. And I think the young players are relishing that. But I do think there's an air of complacency where it's concerned, people. So Yeah, man, that's that where Eddie Nketiah is concerned. What are you lot saying in the comments? As usual, I appreciate the engagement and all of these sort of things. Again, this is why, sometimes I always think, what, should I allow it today? Should, I'm probably gonna just, that I'm probably peeing off the subscribers and things. Let me just allow it and stay out the way and not go live today. But then, I always see comments like it's made people's day, can't wait. And again, I always judge what I'm doing on the value I'm providing for others, if nothing more. And again, hopefully I'm giving you lot some sort of quality in it. So again, you lot appreciate all the positive words and whatnot. This is the reason I hang around like a bad smell. But yeah, I appreciate you. I lived up to my promise and now I'm sitting at work with no voice. North Bank sang all the way through last night. Big up you, man. Big up you. Seems like you had a good time there. To be honest, I fall into the trap of scapegoating Pepe because of the price tag. Honestly, don't think he's good enough, though. I'd sell him in the summer. Now, when it comes to Pepe, I can't lie, I'm getting quite peed off with him, And again, a disclaimer for those in the back, for those who do not understand what I'm talking about, legit criticisms of Pepe, holding on to the ball too long, inconsistent decision making, general frustrations in just how the man plays. I understand it. I agree with it. I am not no chairman of the Pepe Defence League. I don't really care. There's very few players I care about at Arsenal Football Club. Two of them are Saka and Smith Rowe. Beyond you lot just playing for Arsenal, a lot of you annoy me, and a lot of you are just not good enough. Now, we're at where we're at with Pepe. I do think when he's having to receive the ball on the halfway line, when he's playing with different fullbacks, it's going to affect your game. I do think when you look at the underlying numbers, he's definitely not as bad as people make out. I do agree with the frustrations, definitely where the last two games are concerned. But you would think, he's committed some sort of worldwide crime. He's to blame for child hunger. He stole people's life savings. The way he's being scapegoated and agendaed in the last two games, it doesn't sit right with me. And it used to happen with Willian, rightly or wrongly. It did happen with Bellerin. As you know, people, I'm all for legit criticisms. I'm all for legit concerns. I'm all for keeping it fair. If you've played well, you get your praise. If you've played poor, you get your negativity. But at sometimes I think it's people just want to draw out Pepe. My opinions on Pepe, we're at where we're at with Pepe. In an ideal world, if Arsenal was a certified club and had certified money, bro, hold our L. We got conned. Let's make this guy a squad player, rotation option at best. Let's go get someone who can do the job. That being said, I do think he's useful to the team at 26 years of age or whatever. I don't think he's ever going to be the talisman. I don't think if the penny hasn't dropped now for how to play football at that higher level and pass when you need to pass, shoot when you need to shoot, not overrun it, not let your brain move faster than your feet or your feet move faster than your brain. That's it now. You're not going to get it. It can happen. I hope it happens, but that's where I'm at with it. The price tag's the price tag. We got conned in it. It's not 70 million up front. It's how it is, but we got conned. The man's a 20, 30, 40 million pound player at best, rotation option. As I said, need to really revive what's going on. I do think he's a decent option in the squad. I do think he's a better passer than people give him credit for. I think he's better in tight spaces. I do think there's a lot of luxuries he hasn't been afforded. I don't think we play to his strengths like with Aubameyang. That being said, clearly the man frustrates. But again, he was no worse than a 5, 6 out of 10. And I know my frustration is I want to see more from Pepe. I wanted him to lay down a marker. And Martinelli, more so Pepe because he's the focus of this. I wanted him to lay down a marker. Give Arteta no reason to keep you out the team or to keep keeping you out the team. Like Lacazette when he's got his 1-2 opportunities. Reality is, this is why you two are on the bench. If we keep it true with Martinelli and Pepe, that's why the man there on the bench. Martinelli, of course, like with Pepe, you need to play on a... I think Pepe is one of them, and again, history's been rewritten. The guy's got quality in him, but again, consistently, it's never going to be there. He's going to go through these purple patches. One of our best players towards the end of last season, when Arteta came in with the FA Cup, had a good season, started the first 3 games here. So I do think Pepe is one of them. He needs to get a run of games. But that being said, that's still no excuse for the poor quality yesterday, and you need to earn that right. Pepe hasn't, Pepe probably would have been better on the left. I actually wanted him to move over to the left because I don't think we was attacking that young right back at Leeds enough. But saying that, you need to earn the right. Martinelli's shown in that game why he's gonna, he's gonna come good, and you need to remember the injury, but he's shown why currently you're not getting, and I still think he needs to get minutes. I still am gonna advocate him to start. I still think, Pepe the same. But isolated to that Leeds game, this is why Smith Rowe on the left is ahead of you right now. Aubameyang could be pulled there ahead of you. Probably even Odegaard could be pulled there ahead of you, and a couple of other options. We ain't got too many options off that right-hand side. And unpopular opinion, I actually think it's a concern, you know, really and truly, because we over-rely on Saka, where if we're real with ourselves, Saka's amazing, Saka's wavy. But if we're real with ourselves, if our squad was in a different health and things, if we was to look at Saka, being our number 7, not doing the job right now, you should be on the bench. Maybe even the same for Smith Rowe, excluding the last 2 games in the league, you know. So I hear you with that. But again, you can't keep beating him over the head with the price tag. He's going to keep living. He's going to live or die by it. But for me, it does make me feel a bit uneasy because he's being blamed for things that aren't necessarily him, really. Like the last Premier League game he played, you know, Smith Rowe got away with murder and Pepe got moaned at. And again, I'm not for this. Oh, but he did it, so let's get at him and leave him. Listen, if you played poor, you played poor. We're at where we're at with Pepe. You know, again, the decision making frustrates me. I don't think much of the guy, but I just think there's mad agendas. You know, if I'm honest with you, for me, with Martinelli, someone I have got a lot of time for, it just needs to wait. You know, the injury still, you know, he's still feeling the effects in the rehab in relation to that and getting back to sharpness. Clearly, you know, he looked like a man that ain't played too much minutes. First touch, kind of baggy, decision-making trash. But saying that off his own back, Martinelli, I've seen Martinelli do a lot better. You've got to be crisper. I think he was very predictable yesterday. I think he tried to over. Sometimes I think Martinelli tries to over-impress, and sometimes you've got to do the basics. Like there was one incident that annoyed me. I know Pepe probably would have missed as well. It might have even been Cedric over there. But Martinelli's looked like he's come off the left. It's like he's shaping up for a shot. We're all waiting for it to be hit. He's overran it. By the time that chance is dead, you probably just need to slip in a man. He slipped the man in on the right-hand side and bring him in. And if he messes up, we're looking at him. But he still tried to have the shot. And there was a couple of times he's playing stray passes. This is why you're not in the lineup at this moment in time. Still believe in both players. It's still a squad game. You know, they're going to have their opportunities. You know, if they come off the bench against Leicester, you make yourself a hero and things. You know, Pepe is a source of frustration, but I just don't like the way it's going now. It's like the man can do no right. You'd forget he got an assist. And for me, the assist don't mean much because it glitters over a 5, 6 out of 10 performance, same where Martinelli's concerned. But it's not healthy. You know, he can't control his price tag. He's ultimately going to live or die by it. I mean, his own dad has said he needs to improve his final third play when he signed for this club. I'm not going to say Pepe hasn't been working on it because I do think Pepe's overall gameplay has improved, especially a lot defensively, but it's still not enough. And for me, the man's just a squad player. Either sell the man, accept he's a rotation option and bring in other qualities, and that's that really. You know, it just hasn't happened. Anyone that saw Pepe knew he might be a good player, but there's a lot of development he needed to do. There was only 2 really standout seasons at Lille. They're a counter-attacking side. We don't know. For me, we signed Pepe. We don't really know how to use him. The footballing IQ of Pepe is definitely not as high as it should be. It's quite elementary. You know, the way we want to play Pepe is quite wasteful and stuff, and things like that. So it's just a negative cocktail where for me, the man's a squad player. That's it. The cup games, unless you do something else, the cup games are your thing. You know, you can rotate and play well in the Premier League as you have done. But in terms of that upper echelons of consistency, I don't think you're ever going to get it. I don't think you're ever going to be the talisman or potential leader. I do think there is a world where Martinelli, Saka and Pepe could be main options in the future with the help of some others, but that's where I'm concerned. But for me, it's the scapegoating thing. I just don't like it. You know, if somebody plays poor, play poor. But it's, and I'm not talking, and those understand what I'm talking about, know what I'm talking about. It's when it goes beyond constructive criticism. It's when it's blatant scapegoating. And like I said, if you listen to some of the language, bro, this man, you know, this man is the reason for the austerity we're seeing in the UK. I mean, he's probably a more hated man than the Tories, if I'm honest with you. Hit the like button if you haven't done such already, folks. So yeah, that's that, man. Again, but Pepe and Martinelli did not take chances. A man are getting at Pepe for drinking a Pepsi and that as well. Like, I know professional footballer fizzy drinks, but do you honestly think the footballers don't drink fizzy drinks and do certain things, you know, and one in moderation? And there's man that get pissed out of their face, you know, drunk, and you're telling me that this Pepsi is going to kill him really and truly. Like, come on now, realistically. There's a certain ex-Aston Villa captain. I actually went to watch a game at Spurs in pre-season, and from playing at White Hart Lane to walking to 4th Street McDonald's, anyone that knows North London knows that's what You know, if you're far, I'd say that's maybe a 10, 15-minute walk. Bro, in that time, I've seen this Aston Villa player hop out of a cab and go and get a Big Mac. God strike me down if I'm lying. I could actually, well, man, they might work, but we could call them. God strike me down if I'm lying. 100% if I'm lying on Friday. I thought we people were bugging out. So again, it's not that deep, man. It's not that deep, really. But that's that, man. Like, it's the last I want to, again, as you can tell, I haven't got much time to speak about Pepe. Like, bro, if your name's not Bukayo Saka, Smith Rowe, Gabriel, Ramsdale now, Tierney, my guy, I ain't got time to really be chatting about you. Like, half of these guys I'm done with, you know. Shout out, with the exceptions of Aubameyang, you know the thing. Ben White showing what he's on, you know. Tomiyasu, obviously the new signings, I'm not talking about them, but I'm past it with a lot of these players now, really and truly. The emotion's gone. A lot of you are not cut up the task. A lot of you only turn it on when the sun is shining and things like that. And we do need to remember, to be fair, where Pepe is concerned, bro, he saved Arteta's bacon last season. He just ain't taking his chances. And keep it trill. You ain't taking your chances. Take your chances if they arise again. Man said 8 games unbeaten, bring on the title. Oh, man. I think Eddie's style doesn't suit us. Neither do I. Eddie is making the cup games his own right now. Man's doing well. And again, Eddie justified his start. Everyone was saying, play Balogun, play Balogun, play Balogun. This is why potentially Eddie Nketiah is ahead of Balogun, because we need to remember, even though we should be giving Balogun the opportunities and giving him minutes to get up to speed, he's behind Balogun. He's behind Eddie. He might have more potential. He might be the better player. He might have a better swagger about him. But he's played less Premier League or top flight games, so he's not gonna have the speed of thought. Maybe not gonna be as able to exert himself physically. The link up play is not gonna be there. He's probably gonna play with his head down slightly more than Eddie. Which again, I have sympathy for Balogun, but I have none, because you should have known this going into it. Your agent and has this. You and Eddie have the same agent, for one. You know Eddie's ahead of you right now. You might be better than him one day. And again, I admire anyone that backs themselves, but you've always got to back yourself, but be open. So you've got Eddie ahead of you, Lacazette ahead of you, Aubameyang ahead of you. Arguably, Martinelli through the middle might be a thing ahead of you. The club, there's a backdrop. Clearly, the club are looking at strikers. We're being linked with some. We even got linked with Belotti today. We tried to get one last summer. So for me, I don't really have sympathy for any footballer at Arsenal Football Club that isn't getting the minutes they deserve beyond the obvious people. If that makes sense, because you need to seize your future in your own hands. So it is what it is. We have to prepare for November when we play Liverpool at Anfield. We can go there and do the unexpected. Let's hope, man. Pepe needs games. Martinelli needs games that will build confidence. Their time will come. But right now, we played very well against Aston Villa. I don't think anybody deserves to be dropped. I don't think anyone will be dropped, really. And again, I think people rewrite history, because again, against Spurs, it was a terrific game. But if you remember that game, people were saying start Pepe, start Lacazette, and then the conclusions were drawn. You know, that was the squad. What happened after that Spurs game? Then we went Brighton and Palace, and then certain things were being said. Then obviously against Aston Villa, that is the team now forever. And the players that aren't involved, there's problematic things. My point being, there's several games across the season. 1 minute you're a villain, then you're a hero. We're going to need every man in this squad to stand up to be counted, you know? Same way Pepe turned it around on the last game of the season against Crystal Palace for us, is the same way we're going to need him, Martinelli, to do them things one day. You know, even Xhaka was a hero. He's a villain going into the Spurs game. He made himself a hero. He was a villain against City. He made himself a hero. So this is the thing, man. Really and truly. Again, for the final time, once again, legit criticisms are not scapegoating. It's when it goes beyond that. It's when we're moving like it was Leeds, but Pepe versus Leeds. There's not even any positive comments on anyone else, really and truly. He's just become the whole talking point. Well, Pepe loses the ball far too often, and it's the way he loses. Obviously, the way he plays, you can say high risk, but it's the way he loses it. It's so frustrating, man. Eddie needs steady, regular game time, something that is hard in our current situation. However, if we're willing to give Saka, Smith Rowe time, then he needs it too. To be fair with you, Izzy levels to them. You know, to be fair to you, Saka took his spot and I know he could arguably drop, but it's not even a thing of being a young player. He's the best right winger in this team. He makes us stronger. Smith Rowe, even if we go off him and Odegaard, they've been playing well together. But the last 2 games, we've all been saying, whoa, one of them may need to be dropped now. For me, it had to be Odegaard. Last 2 games, Smith Rowe was on fire. Smith Rowe probably wouldn't even played yesterday. It would have been Odegaard's game time if a madness never happened, really. So you've got to earn the right, really. You know, you've got to take your chances. Again, I don't think Eddie's had the amount of chances that they've had, but they haven't, you know. Eddie and Joe and these man, they were in the first team and ahead of Reece, you know, and Reece Nelson to a degree. Them two were ahead of Reece Nelson, Smith Rowe, Saka. Bro, Saka was nowhere near the first team when them man there were under Emre playing at Newcastle away. So seize your chances, go out there and take them. I don't think these young players have. Eddie needs to learn from Lacko. Ainsley Maitland-Niles was the best midfielder that game. Real talk, played well. True, not that there was many. Going forward, do you agree that we need to play 4-4-2 in the premise and option? Again, you play a half competent midfield, which Aston Villa weren't in that 90 minutes. I think that 4-4-2 looks very different and unbalanced. They didn't offer much against us. You know, if their midfield spot on, suddenly our pivot in midfield looks unbalanced. Suddenly, you know, we're further scrutinizing the press of our forward options. It worked, man. I personally see Pepe as more of a striker than a winger. And to be fair with you, some of the positions he takes up under Arteta, it's not going to make the situation better. He's receiving it on the halfway line, but at the same time, he needs to do better, man. To be fair to you, from the jump, you know, from do you remember that period Eddie and Nketiah got into the first team when we played? I think it was back-to-back games against Newcastle and Everton. Eddie showed he's improved. You know, he's got better physically. He needs to do his thing, man. Pepe didn't work with Cedric either. And again, this is the problem. You know, when you're not a regular, you're gonna get game time. You're not gonna get a certified fullback behind you. You know, how many different men has Martinelli played with at left back? But this is the territory you're in. I disagree. I think Pepe does drive at defenders, but I do think he's going through a bit of a rough patch. And this is it as well. Fundamentally, Kelvin's spot on. Call it sulking, entitlement, whatever. I don't think it's that. Pepe just seems. You've also got to understand the character. He seems like a shy lad, so he probably has problems, imposter syndrome. It's down to get it out of him. But you're right, man. Need to prove themselves every time. As you mentioned all the time, Pepe is so frustrating to watch. He's the only player that makes me scream at the TV. If Pepe is the only player that makes you scream at the TV, it's mad. Pepe's numbers being better than Saka is in the flex. I don't know where I directly correlated them. The only point this must be a comment based on something you're talking about in the chat. Because the only comment I've said is when you look at you know, when you look at the underlying numbers, Pepe's contributions, they're not amazing, but he's pulling in to his minutes like with last season. He's doing a lot more than other people, really and truly. You can't just draw out the guy, really and truly. And, you know, to be fair, I don't think it's a flex, but it is a flex because Saka needs to get better numbers and things like that, really. General play, Saka's play actually hasn't been amazing this season. Pepe's is trash. So, again, we need everybody to stand up to be counted. And I've said it before, I think spots in this first team. I don't think too many players at Arsenal right now have undeniable first team spots. I think the way Ben White's played, you can't drop him. Gabriel, you can't drop him. Smith Rowe, last 2 games, excluding in the league, can't drop him. If I'm real with you, Saka, there's another, you know, that should be someone that's been dropped. Like, I can't lie to you. I'm probably the biggest Saka fan there is in the world. Like, but let's be real, man. You know. And at a time, you know, when everyone was pissing about last season, you know, he had more direct goal contributions than anyone. So yeah, I don't really want to, as you could like again, I'm gonna without being distasteful, I'm gonna avoid comments about Pepe now. It's a bit tiresome speaking about him, man. Some of these performances Saka had this season were horrid. Bro, this is people play favorites. To be fair with you, Saka's probably, you know, Saka's earned that. You know, you're gonna get more of a blight when you do things. But yeah, man. To be fair, Pepe can't. No, the problem is with Raul Sanye in the club. Then, like, he can't be held accountable for his price tag. It's like with Harry Maguire, you can talk 80 million, 80 million, 80 million, but bro, he never picked the price tag. The most you could do is make man shut up about it. For me, Saka, man said Saka Pepe, bro, it's that thing where he needs to go. He needs to go on the left-hand side. There's less things in your brain to do on the left-hand side. You either go down the wing, you cut in, and he's extremely left-footed, so he has to pass. I think there's too many things for him to do on this right-hand side, and he's just getting excited. It's like being in Barcelona in the coffee shop. You don't know what flavors to grab. It's just mad. It's just mad. You want everything. He just needs to chill out. But allow me with the Pepe talk now, man. Allow me, people. Pepe-Martinelli, we've been waffling for time about it now, man. He's dead. He's dead now. I hear you. A last thing on Pepe, bro. Pepe's got to get the best out of Pepe. Grown men saying Tomiyasu overlaps because they dislike how Pepe plays. Allow it. Bro, Pepe needs to play better for himself, innit? I hear all the talk about the right, we don't play to his strengths, the manager this, the right back that. These are all legit things. But man have to play good for themselves. It's like when Aubameyang's a striker, no one's creating this, that, they're all legit. But if you was a striker, are you gonna, and if you ain't got elite mentality, but are you gonna accept? Think about it, people. If you're a striker in Sunday League, right? Are you gonna sit there and say, I never scored, I ain't scored in 5 games because man are not creating chances? Bro, if you're certified, go and make it happen for yourself. Simple as that. I hear you on cutting your losses, but cutting your losses where? You're not going to get your bread back for Pepe, and then you're going to probably need to pull out a handsome sum on a winger. We need more wide options, in my opinion, anyways, especially where the right-hand side is concerned, or attacking players, so you're going to have to. But saying that, I'm sure he's contracted until 2023, 24, so you're going to have to make a decision soon over him. But allow the Pepe thing now, man. Who's going AFCON, Aubameyang, Pepe, Partey, and Nene. Feels like we're missing out one player there, but I don't know. It feels like we've got 5 African players for some reason in our team when I swear we do it. Partey, Pepe, Aubameyang, Nene. It's probably just them. I don't know why. I feel someone's missing out, but no one's probably missing out in that case, man. Yo, to be fair, Pepe was dropping on the floor all the time. I see couple Leeds players that happen. I don't know what. Did they overwater the pitch? Martinelli has probably played well 4 or 5 times in his Arsenal career. He has the ability, but we need to calm down with that Ronaldo talk. He's done nothing. Loan him out so he can develop. I hear that, but for me, I'd be keen to see how January develops. I think his chance will come. I do think people need to calm down the hype. I didn't say he was Ronaldo. I think he's brilliant. I think you're being a bit harsh. I think he's played well, more than 4 or 5 times. I think he'll come back good, but I can't disagree with a word you said. What other comments have we got? Things are getting better. Remember, I told you, Benedict. I hope so. Why are Bear Man disliking the thing? Hit the like. I don't know, man. We're not gonna give them any praise, man. We're not gonna give them any attention. Exactly, DG. Exactly, DG created that banger for himself. My thing. I gotta reel it up. In life, yeah, you gotta make things for yourself. No one told me to go forward. Bro, there's no service. I don't need service. Shout out Charlie for laying it. But it's all about the finish, not the assist. It's all about the finish. The fans are calling me shit. Let's go. If the shirt is too heavy, you can't wear it. That's a 5 on the back. But yeah, anyways, you gotta make your own goals, man. Eddie gives me Abraham vibes. He doesn't give me Abraham vibes because Abraham's shown he can score goals consistently in the senior game. I'll be real with you. DG's banger, the gift that keeps her giving. I can't lie, man. I feel like I'm on Sky Sports when I talk about that. This coach ain't helping Pepe. The tactics, some personnel, but he has to take responsibility. He's to blame when he makes poor decisions and turns himself in knots at times. But I always say, anyone that comes from like the States or played on the States or whatever, he's like that older that is smoking cannabis and he's playing football with one hand, like he's holding the zoot in one hand and he's doing bare skills against the youngers and his genes are making that noise. That's how Pepe plays to me. Honestly, that is how Pepe plays to me. He's that guy that wants to do bare skillers and whatnot. But anyways, away from that, do you think Emil Smith-Rowe can thrive on the wing if we persist with the 4-4-2? I think with his dribbling and ball retention stats, he's a promising wide midfielder. I mean, can do that little Grealish thing. And, you know, Smith-Rowe's role is a bit of a hybrid. You know, he has to provide width, definitely has to provide that, you know, making an option on the flank like he did with Tavares, like he's done and stuff. But, you know, Smith-Rowe's got a bit of a, I won't say a free role because I think he has a lot of responsibility, but you see him pop up on the left, getting all these little pockets, you know, driving from deep at times. So I think there's a lot of things. I think all of these things are good for his potential. I mean, for his education and ultimately his potential. Personally, the man's a 10 in it. The man's going to be a 10. I think long term he can be taught to be an 8 with the responsibility and things like that. But, you know, he should be looking at Grealish or Kevin De Bruyne because they can all play in those positions. You know, there was a time Kevin was playing out wide that he can play deeper. He can play in a free role. Grealish probably a more aligned one. He can play off that left. He probably, you know, would wreak havoc in a free role. He can actually play deeper. You know, I know in Pep Guardiola, that man will probably play up front. So these, I'm not saying he's going to be Grealish, but these are viewpoints to be looking at. Defo star dog, mate. Defo star dog. You don't, if you got flavors, you don't do that. You don't do that. That's literally what Pepe plays like, man. Didn't know DG had that in his locker, bro. You get me? It's like, man, it's just little thing, man. Little thing. I've scored better. You know, of course I got that. Give me that Puskas award, man. I bring that. He say DG never had that in his locker. You think I'm gonna waffle about football day in, day out to be basic? I ain't got too many of them things to wheel up, but come on. I'm on this Tavares thing, man. Defending's overrated, man. Sometimes I act like I can't hear my coach saying get back. I'm like, me? Oh, okay. Swear, defending and that. Thought I was a wing back. To be fair, all that went in my head is hit it, lad. Hit it. No one's had a shot. Hit it, lad. All I thought is they're closing you down. Bang it. If you don't create chances, don't expect your striker to score regularly unless your striker is R9, Suarez, or Henry, or a man like that. Exactly. We don't create chances. I feel a lot of things. The bar's on the floor for Arsenal because we don't create a lot of chances, because we're not used to seeing us play well for 90 minutes, because we're not used to seeing proper game management. Anytime we see these little things, I feel we go a bit OTT. Like, again, I do it myself. And on one hand, I give the boys praise. We're a young side. But on the other hand, at what point do we stop praising players for doing basic things? Should I praise you for pressing? Should I praise you for listening to the team sheet? Should I to the tactics? Should I praise you for smelling blood and this team looks like they're here for the taking, scoring early goals? Or are these minimum things that you need? Really, you know, you're not going to praise, you know, people that can't do it are always going to praise Cristiano Ronaldo's consistency. But is that something that should be praised? If the man had a dream, if the man had something that was so unrealistic, something that was so hard to achieve, and he wanted it so bad, is it any coincidence that he was extremely consistent with it? So can you really praise consistency, or is it the bare minimum? You know, if you want to get paid from your job, you have to turn up. I can't praise someone for turning up. On one hand, when I look at it on a cynical thing, you'll always say, "Oh, DG, you're so consistent." But I want 50K plus subscribers. I want to grow this thing. So, man, I have to turn up every day or whatever. Do you get it? Or if there's a game, man, I have to review it, or we have to do a watch along. I don't necessarily feel I deserve praise for that, if that makes sense. It's just the minimum requirements, really. You know, you don't praise Liverpool for pressing. You don't praise City for pressing. And this is what we need to aspire to. Of course, we're not them, but you get the point. You need to stop praising Arsenal for the basics. For doing the basics would be my feeling, but in the most positive way. We should play Pepe up top. Fuck that, man. If we're playing Pepe up front, unless it's that false nine thing in the game, we might as well shut him, man. I want real strikers, man. I can't lie to you. I want real strikers, man. I just want a real striker. We're not City. The false nine thing, I'm not trying to hear it. Like, I hear you with it. It's not wrong, but can we just go and grab a striker? You're a 9, be a 9, innit? DG, real talk, Maitland Niles is not a midfielder. That's harsh. He had a good game. Didn't pull up any trees, but positive one. The thing is with Ainsley, when I look at it, it's like, what midfielder are you, you know? What sort of one are you? Are you a deep line playmaker? Are you box to box? Are you a 6 or you're an 8? Feels like you're a bit of everything, but you're not quite amazing at anything. You're like 5 out of 10s, and that's cool. You could have a squad role and you could do your thing. I hope that we put that to bed. I do think if I'm Ainsley, I can't lie, I'll be scheming on Tomiyasu's shirt. Be like, yeah, boy, he's got it down defensively, but going forward, I can do my thing. And if I'm real with you, like I said earlier, you know, don't want to scapegoat Tomiyasu. He's been good. I'm still Tomiyasu FC. It's nice to have a competent fullback. Maybe I'm even, something I just said then, maybe I'm even overcompensating because I've been starved of that for so long. But as I said with Saka and Smith Rowe, if you're real with yourself, Tomiyasu last couple games, you know, did his thing against Villa, but the last 2 of them games there, could have been looking like, boy, if we had another sort of squad, you could have been giving someone else another opportunity. Even the Spurs game, him and Saka didn't do well enough defensively. This is what I mean when I say I don't think anybody's grabbing onto any shirts at this football club currently. I feel Lacazette's, until has a meaty game, he's held on to his shirt to the point where, you know, we have to go back over that whole debate of if Aubameyang and Lacazette can play together and all of these things. You know, I think Smith Rowe in the last 2 games in the league in particular has looked to grab onto that shirt. Do you know what I mean? I think Tavares in the Villa game, just based on what he played, he can grab onto that left back shirt for the next game if that's a thing. Gabriel and to a lesser degree Ben White, Ramsdale with the goalie thing. They've grabbed their shirts. I'm not saying players have played bad, but it's one of them ones, in my opinion. I just think there's a lot of that. And I think if I'm Ainsley, I'll be scheming on right back low key. You're never going to be better than Tomiyasu defensively. Devil's advocate, maybe we're gassing him up a bit defensively, a bit too much, but just to play devil's advocate with you lot. But yeah, man, it's just what I feel, innit? Chambers is better going forward than he ain't it. Tomiyasu's meaty going forward. I'm not going to lie. And I do think it's going to get found out by teams in the fact that, you know, we're left-hand centric. You know, Tomiyasu don't want to go forward too much. That could be an area to exploit. But he's calm, man. Tomiyasu's calm. I like Tomiyasu a lot, man. Obviously, we need to see some improvement. And I know he doesn't look it or play like it, but we got to remember, man's 22, you know, as a defender. He's got a solid education with what he's been doing in Japan and in Belgium. And then obviously he went to Italy and went defending university and that. You know, there's still a lot to work on. And listen, I don't expect Arteta to turn Tomiyasu into Dani Alves, a Japanese Dani Alves. It can't happen, but there can be a bit more improvement. And to be fair to you, I have seen a willingness to try it with Tomiyasu. Like the last game, it was meaty, but I saw someone that knows he needs to offer a bit more going forward. And he tried against Norwich in one of his first games. He tried. I think Tomiyasu don't show it, but I think he's a lot more nervous than people make out. And I say this because the comments come out after the game. He said, I was nervous against Norwich. I think there was something similar against Spurs. It looked it against Brighton. You know, I still believe in the guy really and truly. You know, I hear you if he could be a centre-back. And, you know, when our squad gets a bit more healthier, Arteta's going to flirt with playing him there, in which that's fine, really. We probably need another right-back. Maybe, you know, in games where it doesn't feel right, because I don't feel right without Tomiyasu because he actually defends. But games where it's less about defending and more about breaking teams down and things like that, maybe you go for Ainsley Maitland-Niles or something else, really. I think Tomiyasu is a solid addition to the team, but I think it's a mixture of there isn't really too much competition for him. Cedric's come out of the woodwork, you know, probably go back to being an Arsenal stadium tour guide today. You know, Ainsley flirts playing there, ain't really played there this season beyond wasting out minutes here and there. You know, Chambers came off the bench and scored, shout out to him, but forgotten man as well, probably just doing Arsenal in the community now. So it's one of them. I think it's a mixture of the fact that the bar is low, and I fall for it. The bar is on the floor, really and truly. And there's a lack of competition. So I want to see him kick on, really. You can play Tavares right back. Allow me, bro. I hear you. Tavares can play right back. Partey can do bare things in midfield. Smith Rowe, Saka, all these guys at this team can do bare things and play bare places and do all of these things. But can people lock down one role first? Can I see that you're a winger, a midfielder, a fullback first? And then we start flirting with trying other things, because it's people are 5 out of 10s, 4 out of 10s at bare things and not 10s out of 10s at one thing, in my opinion. Really and truly. And, you know, again, with Tomiyasu, again, you know, for me, he's probably an option at centre-half, like maybe more so next season. I think you're going to have, by God's grace, and we'll get onto it, you know, a Saliba, a Gabriel, a Ben White, you know, Tomiyasu will probably be, you know, that will probably be our 4 options at centre-half, really and truly. I don't know for Holding or Chambers, you know, one of them, if not both, might have to get the clip. But again, we've got the homegrown thing to worry about, really. But, you know, again, I like Tomiyasu, man. Still think he's been a cool option, really. Just do your job, innit? I like the fact that he does his job. He's good in the air. Needs to improve, you know, going forward, I'll give him a 5. It's just meaty. It's not terrible, but it's just basic. So, yeah, man. I like Tommy, not my kind of right back, but he's solid. I'm happy we've got a right back that can defend first. Let's appreciate the fact we ain't dealing with Bellerin anymore. Facts. Tommy needs time to settle. People give Pepe 2+ seasons, but Tommy only had six games. Now, this is what I hate, Chekil, in that, you know, it gives fuel to the fire to say, let's leave this player alone. Let's go and agenda this. And if you just, I don't know where you've been, but if you listen to this whole chat and the whole Arsenal logic, no one's giving Pepe any 2+ seasons, really and truly. But I hear you. I'd get Lamptey. I like Lamptey a lot. You know, again, yin and yang sort of thing. And then they almost help each other. Like Tomiyasu goes better going forward. I don't believe in the lack of height thing, but you heard on The Athletic, Arsenal had concerns over Lamptey's height. He's 5'5", so again, he might have problems in the air, saying that we've signed centre-halves that are not 6 foot minimum before. So then you've got Tomiyasu, who's, again, I'm not sure how tall he is, but he must be 6 foot and evidently good in the air. Saying that, we've got players who are well over 6 foot and can't do shit in the air. Really and truly, pardon my French, people. So it is what it is. I'm loving this live chat, people. I'm loving the conversation. Please make sure we're hitting the like button. I believe at 4 p.m. I've got it scheduled. My loan report should be coming out as well. So yeah, man, it is what it is. I was meant to be on. I'm on Twitch later at 7:20. West Ham versus Man City watch along. I'm meant to be on Twitch at 3 p.m. with Budge, but unfortunately, I've had to cancel that. You know, I've got 1-2 things to take care of, and there's just not enough hours in the day. Simply, folks, people, hit the like button if you haven't, especially after the shenanigans that, you know, certain people's baby daddies are doing. It's not my fault. I know your baby dad's unique. He's just gonna go dislike videos and buy bots and that rather than try and be me, rather than ask you what's wrong. No, it's not your fault, man. And said BG. Time to settle won't stop him being a bit of a donkey on the ball. It is what it is. He can defend well, not great going forward. I like him, but sometimes the 5-yard passes are not that. That's harsh. Why are you laughing at him not getting a look in? That's harsh to laugh at someone's failures, man. Juma, I appreciate you. Saliba comes back next year as a homegrown. Yes, I've heard a lot of that, but I'm not the guy to confirm that. But probably, and to be honest with you, we probably stand to lose. We could potentially lose 3 homegrown players next year. In fact, quite a lot, really, because Joe Willock's not here again. That's one this year. But excluding him, Eddie might not be here. Balogun could go out on loan. Eddie might not be here. Balogun might go out on loan. Holding/Chambers could keep it moving. Who else is there? There's a couple other players. Bellerin might not be here next year. I say might not. I'm touching wood paws and everything that he's clipped. So yeah, the homegrown, we're gonna need to look at that, and that's probably why our backup keeper probably has to qualify as homegrown and get it in there. Nelson there as well, but even Nelson, he might keep it moving, man. You know, Ainsley Maitland-Niles might go. To be fair, you can't really, you know, there's a lot of youth players. As a United fan, I'm sure you already know there's a lot of players that don't quite, you know, crack on and struggle on loan. It's been a bit of a dodgy one, but yeah, you know, I do think people overrate Miguel Aziz a bit. It's fantastic potential, but I think it's a bit like with the Balogun thing. People that evidently are not watching these players week in, week out, and just waffling over 30-second highlights are just drawing mad conclusions. And I get the fanfare, but it's just nonsense, man. What do you think about how Carragher was talking about Smith Rowe after Villa? Waxing lyrical, probably over the top. It's down to him to keep going. I don't know if he is the strongest dribbler in the Prem. I don't agree with that, but yeah, man, good praise. And you know, as long as you're being talked about in something positively, you're doing your thing, man. I like the back and forth of the debate. The thing that goes in Tommy's favor is that he's aware of what he's doing well and what he struggles with. If we had more self-aware players like him, we'd be much better off. Jonathan, comment of the live stream. Because that stuff I tried to articulate, you know, there you have it, man. There you have it, bro. You know, he looks like he knows that. That's what I meant when I said the last game, he looked like he's going forward. He looks like a man that knows his limitations. And, you know, we weren't buying a world-class player. I like Tomiyasu. Do your thing, man. Simple as that. Who would you say has the most potential from Arsenal Academy? Ask me privately, man. You know I don't like to do them things because I'm not one for the fanfare and the buzzword. I think there's a lot of players that actually have potential. Crazy. I'm loving the interesting debates and comments and stuff. And this is why I love being here, people. Hit the like button if you haven't. Halimi said, how are you, my G? I'm good, my guy. I could like... You lot are, you know, it's a pleasure to always be here. You know, you lot are helping me progress the thing. Make sure you're following on Twitch and YouTube. No complaints. I got my health, you know, young, black and flying, sexy and that, you know, baby mothers FC, you know, it is what it is. It could be a lot worse, you know. The haters, I'd hate me too. My God, damn. Shit, you damn right I'm feeling myself. If you don't feel yourself, who is going to feel you in life, people? You got to gas yourself. Ainsley Maitland-Niles was 6 out of 10 yesterday. He pushed to play in midfield. Surely you got to do more if you as a player is coming out saying he would prefer to play in there. True. What are we saying? Smith Rowe should be creating those chances in the absence of Odegaard, but he ain't because he's too selfish to score by himself. He didn't score yesterday, and I think just like his last game, he had the, you know, he created the most chances of the game. Silent but effective. Them comments there screaming like agendas, man. DG, imagine your boss running up to tell you to say well done for turning up this week. Exactly. It's like I told you lot yesterday. You know, I was a badass kid in school 10, 11 years ago, people. You know, to the point where they used to call my mother and say when I've been good. My mom said, why are you calling me for that? Like, his job is to go to school and learn. Stop calling me. I don't know about you, but I'm at work trying to get paid. And that's where, you know, you shouldn't really be praised for things like that, really. Did they show how mad the Leeds fans were moving on TV yesterday? No, what they do? Go teach Partey to deliver to shoot from distance, bro. I can't lie. I'm gonna have to zang Partey still. That's gonna be some expensive lessons. I'm gonna need about $1,000 for the hour. I can't lie. And you can only book minimum block sessions, so that's 5 hours block session, quick thing. Sorry, Partey, but we all need to eat, my guy. Wish I was a barber, man. I know them barbers that cut these ballers' hair. Eddie Nketiah's never not had a fresh haircut. I know that's some expensive haircuts. Yo, DG, on my break quick once. I know you're Mr. Halen. I don't know about that, but who really has the best academy? Me and my boys are talking about it. It's got to be Chelsea at this moment in time. You know, I always judge an academy or first and foremost what it can do for your first team. Now, we've known for a large period of time that, you know, at a time they haven't been getting opportunities. And you also have to judge it on, you know, if they don't make your first team, what can they go out and do? And I don't like the word rejects, but, you know, Chelsea's academy has been kind to us, really. You know, Eddie and Nketiah are behind me. You know, when you look where Chelsea are concerned, you look at, you know, what Livamento's permanently gone from Southampton, Borges on loan. You know, you've got, for me, Levy Colwill at Huddersfield. He's not spoken about enough. That 18-year-old centre-half is going to be fucking brilliant one day. And they've got a bunch of other players. Gallagher, at Crystal Palace. There's all ones and twos elsewhere. So you've got to, you know, not everyone can make it, but it's without a doubt Chelsea. You know, then you've got City. You know, I know you've got other smaller academies. You know, I think Exeter does well with the Cat Frees. Luton produce some good players. You've got Villa got some good players. There's a lot of good academies here, there, and everywhere. But I would say the way Chelsea do this thing is different. Like, from the people I speak to, from even 8 years of age, the way you got to be with this thing at Chelsea is different. Like, I know a lad I know someone whose lad is now at Spurs. They're little kid. They used to be at Chelsea. But a reason as to why Chelsea got rid of them is, obviously, as a little kid, it's difficult, innit? Training 3 times a week, 4 in a game. You know, you're a little 8-year-old, 7-year-old. You're whining about whatever you're whining about. You can't really focus on, yo, man, need to do the training thing. And there was concerns around, you know, I don't want to say maturity because the man's 7, 8 years of age, but for want of better terms or phrases, maturity. From your moving like that, it's a myth. And I do think Mertesacker has come into Arsenal's academy and really tried to revamp things. But I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of meatiness. I think there's a couple meaty scouts, couple meaty players. Some of the age groups looking meaty. Like there's been a couple times people out here and speak to you like, boy, is this really Arsenal? Well, going for this thing, but it's changing with Mertesacker. There's been a lot. I think we've been complacent for a number of years, man. But we move, man. We move. Shout out the sponsors. There's no sponsors, but shout out to them. Any sponsors, shout, man, innit? Independent gets long, man. Yo, bro, it's been a minute. Hope you're blessed. Just on my lunch break, a lot of fans gassing up the unbeaten run. Went on another day. Palace and Brighton beat us. Still not convinced yet. Thoughts, bro? It's like Arsenal fans don't learn from the Unai Emery thing. When we went on that unbeaten run, I don't want to discredit it. It was a mad run. We was doing our thing. You know, you earned the right to be unbeaten. But bro, we're waffling about turning it around in the second half against Cardiff and them things. You know how Arsenal fans are settled football fans. You know, they like to bury their heads in the cloud, man. We're talking to a fan base that was chatting shit about we're the best side in 2021. We got the most clean sheets. Well, I can't argue with facts. Two of them things literally are facts, but without context, as you know, it's meaty, bro. So for me, I can only speak on myself. Obviously, I see a young squad. I know there's going to be twists and turns. I think what we've seen this season, we're going to just see it repeat over the season. We're going to have them times when it all clicks, like against, to a degree, Norwich, to a slight degree, Burnley, more so Aston Villa and Spurs. We're going to have them games like Palace and Brighton where we say, whoa, how didn't we lose? We might lose them several games. We still got a buck Liverpool and City in it, so I can't see nothing other than a battering. By God's grace, we're wrong. So I think I haven't learned anything about Arsenal apart from with the exclusion of the new players. Generally, I haven't learned anything about Arteta or the players. We're still in the same territory. I know you lot can turn it on occasion. I know sometimes I'm going to sit there when the 90th minute comes and say, why can't we do that all the time? Where was this, this player played amazing. Where was this player a month ago? He looks like a shadow of his former self in a positive way. So I think we're just going to keep seeing that. I think we've broken even. Poor start at the year. And I can, there was injuries. There was COVID. We didn't have a strong enough squad. Obviously, it's valid, but I don't think this means we're going to win any of them games necessarily because, again, I think where Brighton's concerned, there's no excuses for not turning up and how we played. So I still think we're at the same territory. I know we can turn it on occasion, but yeah, man. Bro, Arsenal got wavy players, bro. There's hella wavy players. I actually feel there's a couple there's a couple second-year scholars that are standing up to be counted, man. There's a lot of players, man. I first-year scholar, I think he might even still be a schoolboy. I like Amari Okoza-Dubry, love Amari Hutchinson. Patino does his thing. Salah Adine was on the bench, well-deserved. If I sat down and thought about there's a hell of a lot of players, man. Marcelo Flores probably needs to up it significantly. Miguel Aziz probably needs to up it significantly. There's Zayn Louise. I like him. And if anyone's going to bust through at centre half, I think it would be him. But a lot of levels to go up. There's a lot of players, man. I'm not the guy that's ever going to sit here and say, the man there, the next, that, this, there, and the other, because I don't need these headlines. I don't need these sensationalized things. I don't need, DG was the first to speak about him. That's dead. A couple of these players didn't, I look at Eddie Nketiah, probably didn't look too amazing in the academy, if I'm honest with you. Scored a bunch of goals, did his thing. Saka looked bloody amazing. Smith Rowe looked bloody amazing. Ainsley, to a lesser degree, he played like a utility man. Reece Nelson, struggling a bit in the first team, looked very good. Iwobi, didn't think I did understand when he got his opportunity because he was playing to a purple patch in that if you was connected with the reserve team at that time, you was probably saying, if you're the manager, you're probably saying, what boys can come over to the 20, can come join our first team session? You would have said Iwobi. And if Wenger was an Arsenal manager, I don't think Iwobi has this career because he wasn't someone to look at like that. So 9 times out of 10, it's the one that you're not looking at, the one that you don't think is going to be the one that is. And half of these guys that are the guys at all these academies, well, they're not at that level currently. It is what it is, though, man. But there's a bunch of good players, man. You're not gonna get them thing there out of me, though. It's a pet peeve of mine. It's nothing personal, people. It's just, especially where me. I hate the potential talk. I hate the next wonder kid talk. I hate the next this, that, and the other. If they've shown it, why not? There's some player Greenwood. I remember watching him. He looked special. The goals and the way Greenwood is playing for United. I seen him do it in the under-18s. Saka the same. Foden the same. Curtis Jones to a slightly lesser degree, but the same. You know, even Liverpool got one Polish youth, I think. He's messed. Ripped Arsenal to shreds last 2 times we bucked them. Man said, lost my wedding ring last night. Shout to the DG Nation for helping lift my mood. Bloody hell, man. Put that away somewhere, man. It's calm though, man. DG was telling, man, about the 22 unbeaten. Bro, I can't lie. The hardest time as an Arsenal fan or content creator was when I was trying, not that I knew more, but it's like, well, I'm trying to have an opinion because, again, not that I know much, but I don't think my eyes are lying to me of what I'm seeing in this. And man are just telling me, how can you say that about Mbappe? Blah, 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 blah. And I used to be childish. Like, I remember, I used to get a kick out of this. I was on some 50 cent-ish. I remember what's the love, but not the love button, but you see where some of you comment my videos and I like it and it shows that I've liked it. I would like the comments of what I'm trying to tell people and things like that. Lo and behold, 5-6 months later, you see what man are coming right back to them comments like, you were saying? What's going on here? Are you all right? Is it okay? Thoughts on Gabriel's season so far, DG? In my opinion, he stepped up big time for a 23-year-old. Great to see. He stepped in. The only difference is I feel he has to be the leader. You know, I feel he has to be that guy. Really, it should be Ben White. You've been involved at national level. You bought for 50 million, but I think that's the only change. And I mean that in a positive way. In that, for me, I'm Gabriel FC. Last season, the stocks did drop. There was a period it was looking shaky. Arteta took him out of the team, but, you know, no coincidence. The man comes back into the team. We look a bit more, you know, certified defensively, without a doubt. Is what it is. TT is crucial to Arteta's Arsenal's build-up play to a degree. I'm pretty worried about some of the Saliba vibes I'm reading. Will he ever play for us? Hopefully, man. You know, there's going to be a lot of, Arsenal are going to sell him, which I'm not going to sit here and lie. I do think there's an avenue where Arsenal might just say, you know what, boy, we signed him for 28 odd million. Let's just sell him. On the other hand, you hear the comments that Arsenal have assured Saliba he's going to be involved. So all Saliba needs to do is just keep being talked about, you know. Keep being talked about. That's what you want to do. You know, we want to see what you're on next season. And all I expect from Saliba, as I keep saying, return a more confident player, a slightly more all-rounded player, and a player determined to break into that first team. And for me as an Arsenal fan, I want the double whammy of Ben White and Gabriel's partnership just going from strength to strength. And then I want Saliba to come and complicate it. Go and give Arteta a headache. Go and give Saliba and Ben White headaches. You know, again, as you're seeing, Ben White came off injured. It's a squad game. You need a lot. One thing that also annoys me in football is people always say we need options, we need depth. And then, Saliba can't play because we spent 50 million on Ben White. You know, what's going to happen with Smith Rowe? We've got Odegaard now, this, that, and the third, and all this just nonsense, just tosh, really. Football's a squad game. There's 38 games, you know, and our body, you know, whether it's illness, corona, other illness, legit injuries to do with football, well, our squad is down to the bare bones at this moment in time. And for me, we're going into that notorious November month. So as an Arsenal fan, I know say you lot are shook. So it is what it is. Keep your opinions and whatnot rolling in, people. But on that topic of Saliba, there's 1-2 bits and pieces that I've seen online. Now, the first article I'm going to read again, don't like the paper. Take it with a pinch of salt, people. But apparently Arsenal failing to convince William Saliba to stay and could cash in on the 20-year-old as the Mikel Arteta rift continues. As you know, he's yet to play a single game despite being signed for 27 million and whatnot, people. Again, Arsenal are struggling to convince William Saliba that his future is at the Emirates and could be forced to cash in on the young defender in the summer. I mean, this is completely different from the talk we heard where Arteta and Edu have told him it's a next season thing. There's even indirect talks in the schedule or talks scheduled for a new contract where we're going to need to think about that with Saliba. But anyways, as we know, he's getting good reviews in Marseille. I'm not going to lie. He's doing great at Marseille. They're keeping clean sheets. They're looking positive. There's still a lot of question marks. He's not playing amazing. I think people are overhyping the game against PSG, if I'm honest with you. It's fantastic tackle, and he undoubtedly had a 7, well, not even a 7, an 8/9 out of 10, but man are acting like it's some Fabio Cannavaro thing. Like, PSG were quite shit, you know. I'll be real with you. Saliba can't be held accountable for that. But my problem is this. Fans will, quite frankly, wank fest over this stuff. And then when he comes to Arsenal and he drops the occasional clanger, because he's going to be 2021, he is dropping clangers on occasion in Marseille, they're going to call a man overrated. He's going to make silly mistakes. Same way Gabriel at times has made mistakes and will make them again. Ben White's going to have mistakes. And 1 minute, Ben White's overrated. Now he's showing man levels. When he makes that mistake, you know what's going to happen. You know, he's going to be 21 years of age when he returns. Solid foundation after being on loan at St. Etienne, Nice, obviously now Marseille and playing in the Europa League and things. But finished article, no, you're not going to get that, you know. So I don't know what to see, what to see of this, people, if there's any sense and whatnot. Obviously, Guendouzi will be a permanent player, a permanent player for Marseille when it needs to, when there's time to happen. And as you lot know, there's another 2.5 years left on Saliba's contract, where for me, a serious club gets it done now. If I'm Saliba or his agent, I'm probably not signing a new Arsenal contract until I actually see the chat is backed up with stuff, people, really. And that obviously brings me to this as well, where former Arsenal star Samir Nasri backs William Saliba for bright future with the Gunners. There is no reason Saliba shouldn't be in the Arsenal team, believes Samir Nasri after watching him play for Marseille. That also follows what Payet has said as well. He's been earning rave reviews. You know, didn't do the best against Rennes. You know, was it against Lens or someone else? He's played quite poor. He's actually played a hospital pass for his teammates, which has converted lent to a penalty. Again, my loan report is coming out after this, people, but Saliba's doing his thing, and these aren't criticisms. These are what I expect a 20-year-old to have in his Arsenal. I think the one thing that's going to shock Saliba is the fast pace of the Premier League. I think you've got too much time to think in France, and I think a very cultured man on the ball like him relishes it. But I can't disagree with what Nasri said. He has all the qualities to play in the Premier League. He's well built, quick, and a good passer of the ball. I don't see any reason why he shouldn't be in Arsenal's team. Yeah, so he's contracted until 2024. We're going to need to be thinking about that. He's great at Saliba. Well, I can't tell Sao Paulo anything. He said he's a top player at his position. We're lucky to get him on loan. It wasn't simple. He's great at marking. I think against PSG, he stuck to his task well, but generally, I think he's marking and looking over his shoulder and being aware of his runners, in addition to playing people on side, in addition to improving in the air and being more convincing with headers, I think can improve. Sometimes I think knowing when to pass, when not to pass, but you know, again, these are things you expect someone to have. You know, he's great at marking, but good bringing the ball out too. He's a great, he is a future great of French football. He's very good at starting plays. Everything I want to hear. But again, let's see where Saliba is next season. And again, he's not going to be the finished article. So be pleased that we need to be wary of drawing conclusions. And, you know, we don't always need to mention Ben White and then mention Saliba and then mention Saliba and then Ben White. The two can coexist, really. But it does make you think, I'm not going to lie, 50 million, because out of the two, I think Ben White's ahead, but it's not by much. I haven't seen Saliba in the Prem, but it don't look like Ben White's as ahead in terms of footballing IQ as I thought he would, considering he's played for England, considering obviously he's been at Leeds and Brighton on loan and all these things. So it is what it is where that is concerned, folks. But Nasri backs Saliba. Arsenal future. To leave Arsenal allegedly. That. What else have we got? We'll get into Arteta's comments in a second, folks, or his whatevers. I still don't like Arteta, Edu, and Vinay. Sacked a lot of them and bring in a world-class manager and technical director. Newcastle already linked with Mark Overmars. Brighton would be a great team for Eddie. Exactly. Saliba will need to adjust to the Premier League pace. Very different variables playing in France. Let him develop for a full season. My only problem with Saliba has been the clarity. Pardon me, and mainly was last season. There was no clarity as to what we was doing, which obviously resulted in him, pardon me, going out on loan. If you can get 50 million for Saliba, take it and run. Otherwise, sit him in the middle and see what he can do. Take a breath, let your nerves settle down, and enjoy the Saliba and squad development. I hear you, but we have to stop saying fans say when 12-year-olds on Twitter latch onto a story, but it's noisy, so I do hear you. I don't know for no 12-year-olds on Twitter. I definitely ain't following them or involved in that. But if we cut the crap, fans do get up in arms about things. Socrates' old number 5 still available for Saliba next season, though, right? Hopefully. Are the bots back? Probably, but that's why we've got to hit the like button. Tuchemani's a baller, but he's a guy that we all spoke about. You need to buy them sort of man when they're at Bordeaux, or buy them from Monaco before they get the hype train and they start really upping the levels, like with Karim Adeyemi. When they really start upping the levels and everybody's interested, it becomes a myth. If Saliba continues to impress at an incredible rate he is and returns next season, do you think he should be given the chance to displace Ben White in preseason? I mean, that's what preseason's for. You know, not just him, everyone all around squad. Reece Nelson, if he comes, go and complicate things. As I said, I think it's too easy to pick Arsenal's team. Even now, you know, if the team was in a better state, there's times Tomiyasu could have been dropped, Smith Rowe, Aubameyang, Saka could have been dropped, Ben White. Again, go and complicate things. He'll probably start off the season as third choice, I'd assume, but you never know what could happen for you. So yeah, man, that's what I would say, broski. So Don Robbie last night. I should have told him to holler DG. I mean, the man's got my number. Shout out Robbie though. You don't beg people for nothing here. I don't know if I would. I mean, if they bidded 60 million, I'd entertain it and consider it for Saliba, but I wouldn't use it to get Madison. I'm using it to buy a number 8 or something, man. They are. For me, it's just having an established career in the Premier League, my guy. Thanks for your reply, G. Do you put the inconsistency down to a young squad? Yeah, in terms of the, I don't want to use the age thing. Age plays a part, but I just think of the culture of the club as well. I think that we still need to change a lot. I don't think we really pride clean sheets. I don't think we really pride trying to make this historically, because you can sit there and say this squad hasn't played together too many times, but you know, I don't think we pride the defensive arts at this club and really the nitty gritty to the same standard of, you know, the Wenger ball and playing great football. So this is why we don't do our thing. Thoughts on Pepe? Well, I've spoken about him too much in this live stream, so I'll just simply say frustration. Interesting comments, folks. Oh, that's the seat gone. Teleman's contract does run out, but it's a mad thing. Like, he's going to have a lot of interest. Again, we've been knowing about Telemann since he's 16 years of age. Those of you that remember, probably going back a very long time now. But when we was in the Champions League, he was playing in the middle of the park against Anderlecht at the Emirates. Even when he, you know, there was a time Telemans kind of went off the boil at Monaco. People were saying, you know, is he really good in that? Like, what's going on? Someone took a chance on him. This is what needs to happen. You know, look at Liverpool. People were saying Mo Salah's a Chelsea flop. He went to Italy, found his feet a bit at Roma. You know, someone at Liverpool, I don't think it was Klopp. I saw an article that it was Edwards. They said, listen, 40 million is going to be the best 40 million we've spent in the last while. And it has been, you know, really. Probably only Suarez can talk about being a better signing for Liverpool than Salah. And even that's, with respect to Suarez, it's a weak argument. You know, there isn't better than Salah. I mean, probably Van Dijk and Alisson could say they've been as vital, but, you know, Salah's the movie, man. And them things there. Not true. Saliba didn't want to leave from the first place. I mean, if you're talking about the articles, yeah. What's happening with Basuma? I mean, we're not buying him, and in relation to what's going on off the field, he needs to sort that out. I don't know for him. I don't want to be buying them sort of man there and until it happens. Lokonga is totally useless and a bogus signing. I'm just gonna block you. You're just talking fart, man. And these comments, Mbappe as centre backs, these things don't help. Leno did have a very good first. He had a good game, anyways, man. But yeah, man, obviously we haven't spoken about what Arteta has or hasn't said in his press conference, people. And I'm rather selfishly, I want to see exactly what he said. So yeah, Arteta press conference, reaction. See exactly what he's had to say, folks. Where is it? One love to everybody that's locked in as well. Hit the like button if you haven't. But yeah, Arteta on Chambers, Nketiah and White's fitness. Now, again, obviously, where the injuries are concerned, you are a bit nervous as an Arsenal fan, as we all should, anyways. People, 170 likes. Can we get to 200 people? But anyways, on whether he's ever made a sub with such an instant impact, I don't think so. I'm so happy, in particular for Callum. He totally deserves it. It was a great moment as it helped us win the game, and it's someone who deserves the best for who he is as a person and how he behaves as a professional. On Ben White's fitness, no, there is a bug going on. We lost Pablo Marie today as he wasn't feeling great, and Ben had it off as well. Had it as well in the last day or two. He wasn't feeling great, so we decided to take him off. Fair play. Why don't we go with Gabriel there? On whether it was a gamble to make so many changes, it was a decision that a decision that I can't keep demanding players to do what they do every day and to keep believing that they can get in the team and ask them to raise the level without giving them a chance to play. And I trust them. I was calm as they know they can do it. Obviously, it was against a tough opponent. On Eddie Nketiah's future, I have no doubts about what he can offer. Whatever you throw at him, he wants more and he demands more of himself. And he's another one that I'm delighted to see the performance and for him to score the goal and help the team because he totally deserves it. There's a lot of players who play in that position, and with a personal situation, obviously his contract is running down. But I try to leave that side aside and try to reward him because he deserves it. On whether there's an update on Nketiah's contract, no. I think everybody knows what's going on. On Kieran Tierney and Odegaard's fitness, which is probably the only bit I care about, they were both out with two very different injuries. They tried yesterday, but they didn't feel great. They wanted to be involved, but they didn't feel good enough to be selected today. And hopefully in the next few days, they can feel better and be available for Leicester. Fingers, toes, everything crossed. On Ainsley Maitland-Niles, he said, well, we have used him a lot, and in different moments, he has played minutes. He can cover different positions. That's the bonus that Ainsley has. And again, he kept trying and trying to improve every single day. Today, I felt he had a really good performance, which I do as well. On Nketiah's future, yes. But he had a situation in the summer that we tried to resolve and we couldn't either way. The contract situation is more and more common in football from where we are coming from with COVID and a lot of issues we have to resolve. I have full belief that he's going to be a top player and hopefully at Arsenal. So again, he's not going to come out and say that he's going to leave and whatnot. He didn't rule out Guendouzi returning, even though it looks like he's gone there. He hasn't really said anything about Saliba. He's not going to say anything about Eddie Nketiah. He didn't say anything about Joe Willock about leaving. He's not going to. Whether that's genuinely what he believes, I think on one hand it is, and I think that's laid down the gauntlet that he wants him to stay. But on the other hand, we don't know. He's playing a bit coy there. On whether Mikel would be happy to let him go, I'm happy to have him in the team. He's our player, and I consider him and regard him really, really highly. From my side, I want him to stay. And I mean, you can say that. He's not been involved too much. You can big him up all you want, but he's not been involved too much. And again, when your back's against the wall, and you got to look at it, when the backs are against the wall, he didn't call upon you. He put Xhaka in the team. You know, he called on the Haylen boys in Saka and Smith Rowe. When the managers can tell you everything, just like I said with Balogun, and it's nothing to, Arteta can only pick the players he feels can get him the best games. But where the Leeds concerned, when the chips were down, he didn't want to play you, man. Again, he needed to rotate and rest. So when you remove the comments away from what's actually happening, this is the dynamics of football, really. On keeping Ben White and Smith Rowe in the team, the thinking that it was more of a reactive situation. Martin was going to start the game and was injured, so we had to pick someone to play in midfield. The other one was Pablo. He was going to start as well, but he couldn't because he had a bug this morning and wasn't feeling good, so we had to play Ben. On Balogun and his future in the team, we'll see what happens. Again, with Flo, we have a really clear project. The steps that he's making, they are the right steps. Don't forget he is really young. He hasn't played almost any professional football. And you need him to go through every phase and don't try to jump phases when you're not ready to go in. Again, I'm really happy with him. He's making the right progress. And in December, we'll see where we are and what's best for him. So again, it's down to how good Balogun trains. And if he trains well enough, he'll get into the plans. If not, what I expect and what a lot of you are probably clamoring for, that is a loan needs to be sorted in January. On Salah-Din being on the bench, rewarding him for what he does every day in training and the games that he's playing, for his attitude and quality he has, he totally deserves to be with us. On getting to the quarterfinal and whether it opens up the door for minutes, he said, well, it obviously opens up the door, opens up more space for opportunity for people. Winning this trophy is something we want to accomplish. It's great to see the players that didn't have a lot of opportunities, the way they played today, the way they competed, and the way they won the game against a really good side. When speaking about Callum Chambers, people, he said, I think there's something else there. You see the reaction from his teammates. They spend time with him every single day. I think it was genuine emotion for him because it's been tough for him. They like him as a person. They know it was an important moment for him. Fair play. On him running to the set piece coach. And we've seen all the statements coming out where the set piece coach said you're going to do your thing. Funny enough, to be fair to you, you know, like we've actually done all right in recent weeks from set pieces. But it is what it is. He said there were, I think, 3 different coaches and a player that told him he was going to score, and it was probably in his ear. So it was a way to say thank you. And again, we do like that camaraderie. We do need to remember we're a football club and not a social club. So Eddie and Nketiah and Chambers and these players can be as good as they want and things like that. We need the guys that are good enough. We do need a squad. Shout out to Chambers. Chambers himself said it happened really quick. All the guys on the bench who were putting me on, the set piece coach, Nico, the boss, they all said, go and score on your first touch. So that was all that was in my head. And yeah, it was nice to see it come off my head and go over the line. It was definitely a first. And yeah, a pretty unique way to score. They were all getting in my ear as well. As I came on saying, you're going to score on your first touch. And it convinced me. So, you know, I had to go and run over to them and celebrate. We want to go all the way from now. A club like Arsenal needs to be going all the way and competing for silverware in every competition. So that's obviously our aim. That's our goal. We're really focused on that, and we believe we can do that. So fair play. I mean, nothing more, nothing less. If you said anything less, then there's an issue there, really and truly. Doesn't seem to be anything else in that regards, people. So yeah, man, that's Arteta's comments. Really post-game comments, better yet. So it is what it is where that's concerned. I don't know. Until the draw's made, Chef, I don't know. I can't really speculate, man. You know, I'd prefer to avoid them teams, but there's only so much. You know, what is it? It's you got Chelsea, Sunderland, us, and I don't know who the other team is, mind you. Well, it's probably out of West Ham and Man City today. Do you think Arteta can turn this around? I don't know. I don't know because I'm still where I was last season. I don't know. I think don't know maybe is no, and I hope so. I don't know. I mean, we all like Chambers, man. But still, man, you know, if these lot can be stole, you know, if we can sell these guys and make some profit and do certain things, then why not, man? I don't know what illness it is. Nonetheless, we hope it's nothing serious. What did you make of Kolasinac last night? Poor, to be fair with you. Didn't do much. If we get 20 league goals, I think Aubameyang is our main striker next season. But I would like Aubameyang's role to change. Like I would like him to be a somewhat rotation option, somewhat or whatever. Like if you could find a striker that can do what Aubameyang does, then make him a somewhat. He still plays in that, but he's almost a secondary option. We're not relying on him to that standard. But it's hard not to. And I even forgot about Liverpool. So, yeah, again, this is my interest in this cup apart from Arsenal. 5 games on today. Liverpool, Spurs, Brighton still in the comp. So, there's still a lot, man. I like Jonathan Davis. Still waiting for that real purple patch. But, yeah, man. It's one of them. It's one of them ones, really. Still waiting on him to really up it and really show us something. But other than that, can't really complain, man. Do you think Ainsley made a bid for the Arsenal first team with the performance yesterday? No, you know he's giving the manager something to think about in terms of the manager's got confidence in that you've come onto the field and you've done something. But I wouldn't say he's done anything to eclipse Xhaka when fit, Lokonga and Partey based on their last games. I think if anything, he's probably fighting Lokonga, but. Yeah, man, it is what it is. Smash the like button if you haven't. On that note, though, people, I've covered everything. It's lunchtime. I am getting a bit peckish, people, so I'm gonna get out of here. The good news is that the content never stops. At 2 p.m., I think one of my videos is going live in relation to my loan report. As you lot can see in the link I've just dropped as well, people. I'm going to be doing West Ham versus Man City. I'm going to do a watch along for that, starting from 7:20 on Twitch. Same procedure as last year. I mean, as last night. Sorry, man said last year. That would be a problem. I'll drop the link here for the tactical review. I think that's scheduled to come out at 4 p.m. YouTube said statistically that's the best time to bring out videos, uploaded content. So I thought, let me listen to the algorithm. Last question. Do you think Eddie might get a new contract now? Well, they tried to give him a contract in the summer. So probably, you know, he's probably added a few more zeros and put pressure on the club, really. But it is what it is. On that note, though, like I said, please hit the like button, comment, subscribe, and the rest. I'm out.
There's always just that active red flag defending.
I think it's like